Good morning, chat. How are you guys today, huh? Hi, Forex family. Remember, always in 2 hours from now. Yeah, now it's early, and I'm trying to keep you awake, Alvin. It's not Alvin, it's, I don't know. Jinzi. Sorry. But yeah, good morning, everyone. So, I know it's earlier than normal. It's gonna be a bit different today, but I'm going to do updates throughout. So, if you reckon that I'm supposed to be live in like 40 minutes, then you should skip to 40 minutes from now on, and then we'll go through the markets yet again. But I will go through the markets now, and then in 40 minutes. Oh. And to find space for my food. Jesus. How difficult is that, listen? Son. Good morning. What's up with the music today? Cool, I guess. Son, if you can hear some music, it's probably okay, but I'm just gonna mute my own. So listen to it. So good morning, good morning. Today, I bought pound dollar on a different account. My entry is spot on. Around 31.20. So yeah, boy. Is that delusional? Yes, it is. Is it on my main account? No, it's not. Am I waiting for dollar bullishness? Yes. I'm sorry I didn't tell it earlier, but I've been sleeping. I did it I did it after the Zoom meeting yesterday. I was like, you know what? I think this is gonna go up, bro. So it's opportunity. Someone needs to pay the bills. It's not dollar bullish at the moment. Someone needs to pay my bills. So because a power backup solution has come back to 120,000 for me to have power. 120,000 for power. How long? 2 hours. 2 to 6 hours. That's what's going to keep my live stream open. 2 to 6 hours, that's going to cost me 120,000. So, I need to make some money, bro. Shit. Damn. So, today, is there a discount on my mentorship today? I don't know. Maybe I should sell like 3 mentorships to pay for that shit. To pay for that? I don't know. That's a joke, by the way. Don't worry, I'm not gonna make you do anything. Yeah. So I need to start trading today. So, dollar first. Let's go. Dollar. Well, we talked about dollar yesterday, and the thing with dollar is I want this to be bullish, right? And it has paused. So, in the meantime, while we are kind of pausing around here, I'm like, what do I do? What do I do? What would Hardik do? So I said to myself, okay, cool. If I see all this bullishness, I see this perfect reversal on pound dollar. Take it then. So I took it. Why in the body is to pay for my 120,000 new backup power solution because this grid net is too unstable. So I plan to be here for 3 hours until 5 p.m. Then I have a different meeting, and then yeah. So today it's all on deck on board. Today it's whatever moves. Bro, I brought. That was a joke, by the way. Bro, I bought New Zealand yen today in Sydney session. Cool. Please make it short now. Please, I'm work. I'm using lunchtime. So I will use this time short. Don't worry. So, dollar. I want to do bullish. It's not bullish. By the way, Joe, I saw that Wayne had changed his buys again. He was bearish the other day on dollar, and then I saw yesterday he was bullish again. Come on, bro. I can switch t-shirt. I can't switch t-shirt faster than that. I must spend one t-shirt for 2 days, by the way. Finally, but true. Friday. Fragon says. Funny but true, but Friday, my new kitten, Joey, laid on the laptop and made a trade. Didn't notice. Got 6 pips, then I threw a few more entries, close to 8 gains on the back roll. Fantastic. I don't know. Yeah, don't look at me, bro. Don't look at me, bro. So, pound dollar, going higher at the moment. Dollar bullishness is not there. I saw another live stream a couple of minutes ago buying here. Here, I guess. I guess that guy's in profit now. So, hey! But anyways, that is pound. So if you're looking for pound strength, dollar weakness, you're all good. If you're looking for some dollar bullishness, this is not the one. And if you're wondering if how I took my trade, it is central pivot for the week. And then euro dollar, I have. Well, this is a bit prettier one for dollar bullishness. It has made a lower low this morning, so you know that's a high. I didn't like it on Friday, still don't like it. That's a pullback to support. Everyone can see that. You don't need to be blind to see that. Comes back up again, but fails. I think that's pretty good, and then drops a bit. So this morning there is some other extra pips on euro dollar, and we're now in the buy zone for euro dollar. So we are in a war. So yesterday we came up to central at around 10 a.m. my time. That is a couple of 2 hours ago yesterday. We did the same thing today. Didn't come up to central though. So there's still some selling opportunities here. But if you're a buyer on the euro dollar, nothing. So to make it very clear this morning, I am expecting price to come up to central and then fall. However far we're gonna go, I think 81.50 was the target. Mr. Harold yesterday said his target was it 109.70? You can confirm with me, Harold, but I think that was his target, so he has gotten some profit out of it. So yet again, if we have a small trend here, we'll just continue until we have a break higher more than anything else. What's your outlook on DXY? The bullish. So maybe I should market the cat paws indicator. Yeah, it just depends what he traded. Like, what's the strategy, right? Yeah. For those who's wondering, the guy behind the pivots, the creator on TradingView is here in chat if you have questions. So, throughout this week, though, there is not going to be many high-driven things for the market, but there's going to be some speeches. And the speeches that has been coming out, or something has been said that has come out, that is that Mr. What? Japanese finance minister, Mr. Junichi Suzuki, says that they're closely watching the movement in yen, and there might be some intervening because they still want price stability. So right now, yen is, wouldn't say crashing per se, but is rapidly falling. This might be, this might be challenged, the weakness in yen. So just be aware of that. And this is the first time they hint of a potential jawboning by Japanese officials, but don't see a major impediment of yen pairs that's worth taking note of. So maybe, which is very weird that they will start buying yen or making yen stronger, but that's kind of that. And I don't have a clear reason for the yen weakness, because it doesn't seem to inflow go into specific other assets, maybe Australian for that matter. But why is yen so weak? I have a theory, Joe. Can you tell? Well, do you think that the market is now seeing, well, since America started freezing Russian assets, that people are now afraid that that's going to happen again? I saw that Saudi Arabia wants to start selling oil in Japanese yen. Do you think that is going to have an impact on the market? Work on a new seasonality indicator. We're making good progress. Lovely. Waiting to see it. What's your lot size, Ivan? My lot size, well, depends on my lot size. I think it's pretty normal. 0.10, I think it is. But that indicates something of my account. But I think that's more because I'm cautious more than I'm over trading. I'm blurry. I can go and check on my phone. Okay. Somebody says I'm blurry. I always love that. When somebody says I'm blurry, I don't like it. Okay. I can go on my own phone. That's so cool. We can all look at me in what do you call it, in the 1950s kind of things. But then we're gonna go over news. Now I see myself very clear. I even look pretty. Kvalitet avansert. 1080p. And then I can do that for you. Do you see me? Well, let me see if we can find you then there. Take that out. I can't even see it. It's too dark. So you can see myself. Yeah. See? I have 1080p on my phone. It's crystal clear as a baby bum. As cute as a baby bum. Cool. So I'll go back to being serious again now. So that's one thing that Japanese finance minister is saying in that, and then Mr. Powell yesterday said that they are opening up for a 50 basis points in a meeting, which isn't news. I don't know why where did they find that? Like, is that something to say? I thought that everyone knew that was coming back from April. Sorry, from April, from February, that it was a potential for a 50 basis rate hike. Maybe the market just didn't price it in anymore, but for me, that's like, are you guys dumb? What have you guys been smoking lately? It's, of course, they have to consider 50 basis point rate hike. Okay. So it is a stagflation move that didn't catch them. I don't think it's a new. I don't think the new any new. It won't be any new. What do you call it? New virus that wouldn't make yen weak. It wouldn't make him strong if so. Yeah, but I didn't mention risk off though, did I? Um, but yeah. So major reasons for yen move right now is it's the slowing of growth, rising inflation, and it has been forecasted for 2 years to start happening around now. For inflation, though, there were a lot of more arguments about it if it stays too high. But I will stick on the side of history and expect double-digit CPI, or at least close to that. Yeah, that is actually a very interesting forecast or thought process. Are we going to get to 10 in America? Are we going to get to 10 in Canada? Are we going to get to 10 in the UK? I think Canada and America is probably the closest one right now. And if you look at trading economics for America, just for everyone to see, we have inflation rate of 7.9. So, there we go. Somebody wanted me to do what? Euro New Zealand? We can look at Euro New Zealand for half a quarter, half a sentence. And you sold it, I would guess. Yeah. Also, my target is still 150, 156.50, I think it is for this week. So, you know, it's day trades, you know, down, down, down. But, oh, okay. That's a weekly target. Okay. So we're closing down to the weekly target for this week. But I was thinking, what if we come back down to this level? This is what I was thinking in my mind. Just below 157. So, if you're going to go full pivot point theory, you are going to close out some of your trades around 150, 157.60. And if you're going to go full technical analysis, you're going to look at 156 and a half. Or lower, depending. So, yeah. So that's kind of that. I think Fed is really trying to cool real estate market so high. Flying prices. A lot of things is flying at the moment, Franco. It's getting a bit scary at the moment because at some point people are going to say, before the market that we can't buy it anymore. It's too high. Essentially, real wages aren't increasing. Yeah, and that's another point that I wanted to make, is that people's income is negotiated every, once a year? Or something like that, at least in Norway. So, and then prices is skyrocketing every month. So, yen falling is BOJ's fault. In fact, I'd say BOJ is possibly more important than the Fed for the whole risk-on, risk-off analysis. A rate hike out of them would be painful globally. A lot of compression here on the daily pivots for Euro New Zealand. Yeah, because it was range bound yesterday, so right now it's just taking a dive down to weekly. I'm not going to say it's going to stop there, but if you are doing proper pivot point theory, you need to take something off at least. Not necessarily everything. So, yeah, I think that is that. And then we were supposed to look at something else, and I do not remember what it was right now. But I can close look at gold. I can close look at gold for half a second if that makes you happy. I have a bearish outlook on gold, and that was the sell last week. The question is, did that take you out at break even? And we came up to the weekly central. There is your this week's sell. The question is, are we going to go up to 1950 before falling? And target should be around 1860 area. So right now it is currently bearish. So it's kind of like a two-step theory here for me. Is one, as long as we are below 50, 1950, you're not allowed to buy it, or you shouldn't buy it. This is a buy there. There's a buy demand zone here, but it's way too early. If you look at the EMAs, for example, they are also supporting a bearish outlook because it's still below the 200, and the moving averages are currently just going on a range. So this all points to either you are bearish or you don't do anything at all. So if this now starts spiking higher, then we have a different situation. We don't have that at the moment. So that different situation is if we spike higher, we go through 1950 and we come back down to support. That's when you can start thinking about buying gold, but you are far out. So right now it's just sit tight on your hands, wait for better market conditions and better setups, and then yeah. So if you go down to like 15-minute time frame, for example, on gold, it doesn't look better there either. So far it's just having a cool down, but yeah, just mentioning that sell price from yesterday. Hi Selva, absolutely this is an exit for bears, but not an entry for bulls. Yeah. Joe liking our New World Order conspiracy thoughts. Well, this isn't New World conspiracy theory. This isn't the conspiracy theories. This is the thing. This is the shit. So we have 50 people here right now. I always mention that always makes people leave, but if you have questions, if you have something to contribute, please, comment section is open. I am here. I'm mostly fundamentalist. I mostly trade yen, mostly to a dollar. Currently have a dollar bullish move, a dollar bullish outlook. Have a gold bearish outlook, and I missed the entire move of yen weakness, which is, I don't know. I'm beating myself up for it. I don't like it, but it is what it is at the moment. Ivan, did you do Euro USD? I have already covered the Euro USD, yes. And if you look at Euro USD at the moment, it is having a bit of a struggle to the downside, and I am expecting it to come back up to some sell prices for tomorrow. So this is weekly, yeah, that's what I thought. So for today, I wanted to sell at around 10:31. I have a limit order there, and then we shall see if that works out. If it now makes a lower low than current low, then that's kind of what you are hoping for then tomorrow. So right now we're just waiting, sitting on our hands. These nuts. So yeah. Should you take profit on New Zealand yen? I can look into that in the body. First of all, whatever I go through in this live is only my personal opinion, not financial advice. You should always carry out your own trading, your own analysis, and your own decisions. I only share my personal opinion, which is not financial advice, and you can lose in your entire account. Are you supposed to take profit at 84, or should it go higher? Now, how I would do it, as the only way I can explain it, is: do you have more than one order? If you have more than one order, then you can look to take some off. You should basically be break even, and you should definitely be thinking, what, how much higher can we go in this move before we fall down again? So right now you're thinking, or should be thinking, that 84 sounds like a good deal. We have overstretched ourselves for 2 days now, and the professional way of trading is to take profit as we go higher, to reduce your risk, and to reduce your exposure if it comes crashing down again. If you now are thinking, this is a good part though. If you have reached your target and you're still trading, you're also violating your strategy. Just having that in mind. Me or nobody, Joe? Elias Master says, why don't I share my trades in Discord group? Because I'm lazy. That's what happens. I'm a human being with tons of thoughts and tons of things to do, and right now I'm just trying to sit down and not doing a lot of things to do, so that then I will now. But the thing is, bro, is how to explain it? I set up my trades yesterday in the daily setups group. That is where my entries are set. That is where my entries are. That is what I. That is when I am. That is where I say what I'm about to do. And then I put my limit orders. And then I don't tell you my limit orders because that will be too messy. So should tell you when I get my entry. But I can be somewhere else, completely somewhere else, and I forget to check that I've actually been entered. So my apologies there. I will improve. My apologies. Okay? But if you are thinking of USDZAR, USDZAR is a difficult nut at the moment for the clear reason that both of them are strong. Good morning, Josh. How are you? So right now I'm thinking that we should be very cautious of USDZAR because it's more of a range to going nowhere at the moment. But if you create your own trading plan for it, you had your sell there. I'm not saying that's what I forecasted. I'm just saying that's what the market did. This is also what the market did. And if it now breaches lower, if you are bearish fundamentally, then cool. But right now, technically, both are incredibly strong. Maybe South African rand is actually stronger than the dollar, which is so interesting. But the trend for sells were here, here, and here. So we are late to the train. Can I get your link to a Discord group? You can get a link to the Discord group. Discord group is in the description, but I can give it to you. Don't worry, and I will also put it as a pin message. There we go. Food break. Sorry, I'm hungry. Before I eat you guys instead. Oh. I know this isn't content, but I'm sorry. If I'm supposed to think straight for you. Franco asking me about average daily range, and you keep getting mixed signals. But I don't know. I'm not the one to be asked. I don't teach it. I don't know it. And it's kind of like asking a police officer how to fix a lift. I have absolutely no clue whatsoever of how to do that. So we have 50 people right now. We have 26 like. We have no new subscribers today. So let's go to the. Let's have a market update right now. So first of all, we have S&P 500. Yesterday said in the stream should go higher. So has it gone higher? Yes, it has. Did you buy it? I don't know. Am I able to? I can check if I'm able to, actually. I can check if I'm able to. Just gonna take off that bloody music. Where are you, Joe? I don't know. Maybe I'm able to. Maybe I'm able to. Let's see. Joe, can you hear me? But I can't hear you. That's interesting. User settings. Stream mode enabled. Okay, whatever. I need to go to user settings. Where's that thing? Voice and echo. And then yeah. Good. Joe. What? I can't hear you, can I? I don't know. It's totally empty. Maybe I have taken off. I don't think I've taken off the sound on that one, have I? Discord? No, I don't. I haven't. Anyways. Yeah, I know. I'm trying to, but I can't hear him. You know, maybe because it's the stream mode enabled. Okay, stream enabled. Right. What about now? I can see you're a green, Joe, and I can hear my own thing that goes click, 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 click. That's the weirdest thing. Whose sound is it? Is it mine? Can you hear me in Discord, by the way? Because that would be fun. Oh, you can hear me. Okay, cool. But then there is no feedback. Or something wrong with, or is it something wrong with your microphone? Yeah.
My microphone was off. Don't hurt me. My power to the microphone was off, man. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Technical difficulties, everyone.
That's the funniest shit ever.
So yeah, what are you gonna look at next?
Do you hear me in stream or do you hear me in Discord?
I hear you in both.
Okay, I can just talk then. that's the funniest thing ever. Okay. Who can't hear who? Try call another one. Okay, I don't know. Maybe it's just chat is a bit late. Chat, can you guys hear me though? Because you can't hear you. Can still hear you. Cool. No, what I'm looking at, I really want to buy. S&P though, or continue buying S&P is probably the other thing here. And you? And you?
All right, so the delay is only like 3 seconds, just so you know. Buying S&P.
But if you only hear me in Discord, then it's supposed to be simultaneously. So we'll just talk. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So what? Look at S&P.
Yeah.
Let's see here. I think, yeah, S&P is going to be super choppy here for like the rest of the week. That's what I think. Up until you get until like, let's see, what is that? March 29th. I think there's pretty good chances of that being a green day. Front running, the quarter, right?
Yeah.
And then, what is it? Because usually, like the first 2-3 days of April are pretty bullish. But man, I have a new indicator. I'm looking at it, it's giving me all sorts of information. The very fifth trading day of April, 80% of the time it's a bearish day. Yeah, that's the seasonality dashboard I was talking about.
Which day?
You got access to it if you want to use it.
But which day? Did you
Which
say?
date? Which date? Yeah, I should probably tell you that. Let's see here. April 7th. That's the date with the and the statistic is 79.17% of the time it's a red day.
Yeah. Because in my world, April 7th and 8th is a down day. Or a hard day. Like it falls hard that day.
Well, it falls harder than most. What's good about the dashboard is that it also tells you the average or the median volatility of that day from high to low. So that's a pretty good way to figure out like what the magnitude of the move could be. And what I have here is 21 points. So not a huge amount on a median calculation, but if we're using averages, we get 26. So it's not really that insane. And that's using the ES ticker. So it's not like loading, stuff from 150 years ago. But what's actually kind of cool is I can filter out those old bad pieces of data and I can still use all the historical statistics I want. So, yeah, I don't think there's like a whole list I have to copy paste and put in the indicator if you want to filter out all those years. Otherwise, it's just, anyways.
Do you remember,
what else you're looking at?
Sorry, do you remember how to take off that sound when I engage my push to talk thing?
Oh, yes. Go to user settings. And then go to, I believe it's notifications. Yeah, notifications. And then somewhere in the middle of all the checkboxes, you'll find PTT activate and PTT deactivate.
Okay.
I also turn off the user join and
user leave. Yeah.
Yeah, user leave, and then the viewer join and the viewer leave.
What do you? Yeah. So what Joey is talking about is seasonality and seasonality indicator here, people. Just for that, but Franco, what do you mean? What are you talking about?
The seasonality dashboard. You got it in your indicators, your invite-only scripts. The seasonal statistics dashboard.
Yeah, I will go look at it.
But and it's actually all ready to use. No configuration, fancy stuff needed. All the defaults are optimized and whatnot. All you got to do is set the month you want. Oh, and you can only use it on a daily time frame.
Yeah, I was there now.
So you want March. And then there you go.
So yesterday was a good day. Today not necessarily, and tomorrow 50-50.
Yeah. And just so you know, these numbers here for the calendar section on the far left, that's trading day, not calendar day. So that means that there's 23 trading days in the month of March, not, there's obviously 31 days in March, right?
Okay, so now I need to start thinking.
So this is excluding weekends and holidays.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And again, the more data you feed into this, the more accurate your historical statistics are.
Yeah.
Reasonably, if you want to do S&P, I like just using the ES1. And the ES1 gives you it'll give you like 6 or 8 more years, I think, or 5 more years. And it'll change your statistics a little bit.
Yeah, so I think, I don't know, maybe we should go do a live stream one day and explain it in details, or make a video on it on your YouTube for that matter.
Yep.
So everyone can understand it fully, because it's literally the first time they've seen it.
Yeah, all you gotta focus on is that bull bear column with the green and red stuff.
Yeah, okay. So the darker the green, the better the green, the better the day for the bullish
yeah,
side.
it tells you the odds right there. How many days? It tells you the days they were bullish, the days they were bearish in count, and then they tell you the percentage of bullish to bearish days. And then there's a little emoji you can look at that tells you, oh, was this majority bullish, or oh, was this majority bearish? And then there's a little scale emoji for when it's exactly 50-50 balanced. Like Thanos.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah, I can. Now I see it. Okay, cool. I was like, up, down, down.
Yeah, and these are just seasonally, like, okay, what does that? How does that day typically perform?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and then the column that says high low, that tells you generally how big from high to low the candle is, what the median high to low is. And so that's like not necessarily the expected move, but that's just, okay, if we go back, what, for today is the 16th trading day. Yeah, that's the highlight, the little orange, teal, tan highlight that we got there on the 16th trading day. So it's getting 19 years worth of data for the 16th trading day of March, and telling you, hey, the 16th trading day of March has about, what is that, 18.8 points of movement from high to low.
Yeah, that's just high to low, not necessarily.
Yeah, on median. So if you go above 18.8 points of movement, then you're doing some sort of mean reversion thing where you're selling the upper range, taking it back down, or
scalping it then,
stuff
basically.
Like that. Yeah, it gives you some general statistics day by day. Kind of like pivot probabilities, but this will help you with like figuring out, oh, generally when do things turn from bullish to bearish, and what days are really bullish and what days are really bearish. Because there are some days that have like 80-90% they're bullish. Yeah, it can be a lot of fun just looking from month to month to month, trying to find periods that have really bullish or really bearish days.
So, this is also very micro, right? This is day trading type of stuff, or because if you will go from one day where it's like 60%, then 2 days later is only 11%, right? sorry, yeah, like you can go from like 8 out of 11 to the next day being like 12 out of 6, or a couple days later it's 15 out of 2. So it's kind of
Yeah, the 15 out of 2 looks a lot more attractive.
yeah. So how are you going to use that? How do you interpret that? How do you interpret that though? Where you have a fluctuation between one day is very good to the upside, and the next day is like it's the worst day ever.
Well, that means generally you're getting a high amount of volatility. But if we look at that high-low thing, the high-low thing is actually a really good way to kind of compare the volatility. So the little fire icon, that means that you have above the median volatility of whatever the 50 percentile is, you have above 50% of that. So that means you got high volatility for the month.
Yeah.
And if you got a little ice thing, it means you have generally lower volatility for the month. And the little blue dot is your median number that everything's being compared to. So fire icons for everything greater than the blue dot, ice icons for everything lower than the blue dot.
Yeah.
And that's important because when you go and check, okay, that day with 88.24% chance of being bullish, you want to know how big that day is going to be, right? Not just like, oh, it's going to be a green day, most likely. You want to know how big that green day is going to be.
Yeah.
And if we go and we check it, it's like, oh, there's a little ice icon, and oh man, it's only 17.5 points to move. So it's not going to be the most, it's historically not been a very volatile day. So there might not be even a lot of leeway on that day to get in at like the absolute best price. So you may want to try and get in at the low on the prior day.
Yeah. So you strategize yourself, and you would say that, like, if you saw this beginning here, it would, when you are 10th, you're like, there's going to be 3 trading days now, 13, 14, 15 trading day of the month. It's going to be fire, and they have higher low.
Oh yeah.
And what happened? 16, 15, 14.
Look at the
whatever
odds for the yesterday, right? So the 15th trading day, and look at yesterday's candle.
And it's small.
Yeah, it's small, and it closed bearish, which is actually quite unusual because look, that day usually has from high to low 24.4 points of movement. That's in the higher end of the range of volatility for the month.
Yeah.
So that's quite unusual.
Yeah. Somebody asks, how can you get this indicator?
Well, it's free for now. You just gotta, you can just ping me in Ivan's Discord, and I'll DM you what you need to do to try it out. But yeah, this is like a little side thing.
So if you go to Discord, people, this is Joe, the correct
your
Joe.
Discord.
Yeah, the correct Joe. 0596 handle. This guy. That has been how many accounts has been trying to be you now?
I think I've had the ban from my server, and I've put all those things into your server now. Like 10 bot accounts have tried to impersonate me now. So
yeah. So this guy is the guy
name
to reach out at to get this indicator, and it's currently for free as far as I understand. So run.
Yeah, I'll have an admin tag in Ivan's Discord. That'll be the real me. That's how you'll tell it's the real me.
This guy.
So, but yeah, the next best thing for this is like doing expected move stuff, and there'll be a lot of cool things to do with this thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a good research tool.
Yeah.
That's really what it is. It's a good risk management tool. Because like you see all those days at the very beginning of the month that do 50-50, 45, 55, right? when you see a lot of people think, oh, 50-50, it's not really a tradable day. No, what that should set off in your mind is like, oh, this day can be either or.
Hmm.
It can be either or 50,
Hmm.
bullish or bearish. You need to have risk awareness in those situations, right? You
Yep.
need to be at that point looking at what maybe the prior candles were doing and seeing if there was a strong trend or not, and really managing your risk more so during times when there's a balance
Yeah.
between bullish and bearish days.
Yeah. I think we need to continue here, but the other thing is that there is probably going to be a live stream or a video. I
Oh yeah,
I
I'll
can
have
hear
to do
it.
it. I'm gonna be doing a lot more development, and
Yeah.
I'll be doing a tutorial on it.
So
Now is not the time to be doing the whole breakdown of it.
yeah.
But
So there
to
will
kind of
be a
give you
breakdown.
context, so you could look at it and say, "Oh, I can actually see that's a really bullish day. I should
Yeah.
probably be aware of that for my risk management." Because
Yeah.
if you're a bear,
Yeah.
and then in like 3 days from now you see a really bullish day,
Mm.
you may want to consider exiting before that day. You may want to consider that.
Yeah.
Unless you're going short on a larger trend. And then maybe you want to say, hey, if that's what's most likely going to happen, like 80-90% of the time, I'm going to get some kind of drawdown. Why don't I take some off? Right? It's risk management.
All right. Thank you for that update. I also need to look into it more myself.
But let's look at some charts, man. It takes up the whole damn screen.
All right. S&P, yeah. We are on daily
If
now.
you want, you can actually make it smaller.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah. In the settings, there's a use row limit inputs. Set that to set the lower row input to 15 and set the upper to like 25. It's like the first setting towards the top. Yeah. So set the upper to 25 and the lower to 15. And that'll only show the last like 5 entries or so.
Didn't make any change for me though, but
you have to toggle on use the row limit.
Okay, though.
Yeah, you gotta toggle that on. Yeah, and it makes it only like 5 or 6 things high instead of taking up like half your screen.
Yeah.
There you go. Now you have the statistics just upcoming for like the next couple of days.
Yeah, so you don't get too confused.
Yeah, and you can turn off the rows that you don't want to use or the columns you don't want to use. So
yeah,
if you don't want the min-max stuff, you can turn that off. If you don't want the high-low stuff, you can turn that off.
Yeah.
It's all good. Very customizable, as always with my shit.
Thank you, James. I read James in chat and I was like...
I saw that. Oh, man, dude.
Joe.
There's still compressed pivots here going into tomorrow.
Yeah. So that's gonna be fun. So for everyone here, when we talk about compressed pivots, what kind of challenges does that give us as traders when we have compressed?
Compressed pivots means compressed volatility. It means that your volatility is going down, which means that your targets are getting closer and closer to the current price. So your targets, if you're a range-bound trader, you're targeting M3R1 to the upside. And if you're a bearish range trader, you're targeting what, M2S1? So hitting those zones, those bull-bear zones, is a lot easier in lower volatility environments because you have to move less absolute points. And that also applies to your really bullish and your really bearish targets, right? Your M4R2 and your M1S2. Those get closer to the current price. Those are easier to hit under lower volatility conditions. And when you here's the big kicker. When you have multiple compressed pivots in a row, it's like Pandora's box. You can't keep it locked in, the volatility, for that long. And what ends up happening is you'll end up not just hitting like
Target.
R2 or S2, you'll hit like R3 or S3. Because if you go from low volatility and then you get a pop, your volatility then spikes up through the roof, but your pivots don't move.
Yeah.
Right? Once you're in a new pivot trading period and your pivots don't move, it's like a hand grenade. The thing just explodes and it goes way past what you would traditionally think would be your targets. So that's why I always say it's important to be aware of the compressed pivots, because those things will blow up in your face and just run past those targets because they kind of creeped up on you, right? From one day to the next, from 1 week to the next, from 1 month to the next. There's a period of time you got to wait for each pivot to print.
Yeah.
So if you're just not aware, looking at your charts, that each pivot set is getting compressed by or getting held within the prior pivot set, you're kind of setting yourself up to get jumped when volatility goes through the roof. So it means volatility could just be around the corner, and if it comes around the corner, you probably want to shoot for like past R2 or past S2. Those then become like the conservative targets when you have multiple compressed pivots in a row. You gotta shoot for further pivots.
So what he says then, when you have compressed in this area here, for example, then instead of when you have M2 entry, then instead of having M4, then you should targeting R2 as your primary target. And if you hit M3 and it starts falling, or you have a sell buys, then if you are compressed, then you're supposed to be targeting S2. And I mostly teach that you should take
I mean, it's like there's an example on your chart from 3 days ago or 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Literally right there, you have a compressed pivot and the thing just blows. Literally, there's an example right there on your chart.
Use daily.
Because look how compressed that range is from that day, and how that makes the pivot so tiny.
Yeah.
But if you look at the day just before that, there was a lot of volatility. So, your volatility typically kind of continues from one day to the next until it doesn't.
So
yeah.
But he barely
Your
hit
volatility
central.
continued.
And then next day it comes into the buy zone, so you continue buying, and then you go to R2. But also then that next day also goes into, or next day also then goes into another range or another compressed day.
Yeah, what day is it? The 17th of March?
Are you then going to continue?
The 17th of March. That's just, if you're trying to sell a top there on the 17th of March, that's just a failed bearish setup.
Yeah.
That's all that is. Bulls did nothing because they would have jammed their stop to like M2 to some number.
Yeah.
Waiting for the thing to pull further back, like to S1 or below S1. And because it never pulled back that far, nothing happened to the Bulls trade. Yeah. So when the following day came around and the thing kept moving higher, there's like nothing else to do.
Yeah. Just gonna go through pound dollar with you. What would you do in this situation?
Pound dollar.
If you look at the charts, it's range. It goes from M3, M2, M3, S1, R1, S1.
Do you have
the M4?
Do you have the biased pivot settings here in the free version of Wayne's pivots?
Yeah.
Can you set up the range?
The range.
Yeah, because if we're trading in a range, it's best to use the range pivot point bias.
Yeah. And in range pivot and in range trading, you're supposed to look out for a buy on at S1 with a target at R1. And if you are a seller, you're supposed to sell R1 with a target of S1. So it's been perfect for the past 24 hours
Yeah, so
in
it
range trading.
looks like if you were a bull, you had an option there on the 21st to get an entry. But then if you were trading this, you got out. Like, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4 hours later? So that's quite unusual. You get out that quickly. But the same thing happened also in the day prior on the 20th. Except the thing missing on the chart is the M3 and the M2 pivot.
That's 18th and that is 21st.
Yeah, because the conservative entry for ranged pivots is M3 and M2.
Yeah, actually it is.
Yeah, so those pivots are missing.
Yeah. Even though you range trade, you might also be barely off. Like in this case here, for example, you're barely off. It's almost at the price, but it's not too far off. In this situation as well, you're just, I don't know, a couple pips away.
It's in the current sort of trading situation to the current price.
Yeah.
Why I now like having just bringing my stop loss up and up and up over time rather than having a fixed set profit, take profit.
Yeah.
I'll forego hitting getting out at the exact top just so that then I can, if the thing does continue to run, I can just keep capitalizing on whatever the market gives me.
Yeah. Thumper, no matter how you say that, that's me in English right now. Thumper says, what about the end pairs? What do we think here? So yet again, we have a compressed day.
Continuation. Yeah, and also this is another example of hand grenade.
Yeah, it's actually quite. Yeah,
I'll be totally transparent. I was short Aussie yen. Let me get the date back. It wasn't too long ago. I went short on March 11th.
Yeah, I can see
and you can see that was a good day to go short for like 24, 36 hours.
Yeah, also we can also discuss that because that this is a setup. This is a lower low. This is a reversal.
Oh, no, I went and I shorted on March 11th, like
a bit later
top.
Actually.
And I was seeing some early momentum stuff. I was like trying to front run momentum, saying, "Oh, maybe now we'll get the downturn," and I got stopped out. And the damn thing had that big green 148 pip candle.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh,
damn.
Okay." Yeah. And if you look at the seasonal stats, like this run up here, it happened during 50-50 times.
Yeah.
When the odds of being bull bear is 50-50.
Yeah.
But if you looked at the volatility, the high to low median volatility, these are the most volatile days in the month of March. And you can actually custom input momentum as a custom source and get seasonal momentum, which is something funny I'm doing with the indicator. And these days, these last 5 trading days have the highest momentum in the month of March.
Yeah.
It's totally nuts. But guess what? The momentum goes from the highest number momentum we have for this month is 3.8. And tomorrow we go down to a 0.3. So the momentum drops off in Aussie yen like a truck. And then it goes negative in the 18th trading day. So in 2 trading days from now. So the momentum seasonally tops off in 2 trading days, and actually, in fact, goes negative. So, I mean, another thing is that we're obviously incredibly overextended here. I mean, okay, it's nice to have these rules with like, okay, we got a compressed pivot. It's time to watch out for if we get any sort of volatile move, we probably need to shoot for like past R2, past S2, depending on our bias, right? So it's, it's in these sort of situations, you just got to know the rules and you just got to be careful.
Yeah.
You got to have as much data on your side.
So right now you are coming up to weekly target soon. We did not reach any buy zone on the weekly. We're coming up to early. No, was it now Tuesday? So we are early coming up at M4. Is that a risk to take for a top in the market?
So is this the weekly?
This is the weekly at the moment, yeah, 4-hour chart.
Yeah. Alrighty. What kind of? Yeah, this. Just so you know, this definitely looks like a weekly continuation pattern here.
Okay.
A continuation is actually something I had to statistically prove as a setup that actually exists, and I need to figure out how to get statistics so that we can pick out which days have continuation setups
are mostly
more or less than others. Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to getting that done, that research done. But this is a continuation setup, essentially going from a bullish continuation setup. The bullish continuation setup is going from M3 to M4. That's the basic target.
Yeah.
That's the basic setup.
Yeah.
Now to have the bias ahead of time to buy right at M3 and then have the confidence to take it up to M4.
That requires some balls, by the way.
Well, generally speaking, you have to have a momentum indicator, because the key factor for a continuation trade is the fact that it continues the prior move.
Yeah.
It continues the prior momentum. That's why it's called a continuation trade.
But the default is to go back to minimally back down to central at least to get something. That's the normal move here, people. So even though we see this week, I want to switch over to your Swissy. Even though we see this move this week, next week
no pullback
doesn't.
And that's a defining characteristic of a continuation, is that there's no pullback to the central pivot.
Yeah.
That's a rule for it.
Yeah.
But you can't really define or categorize a trade as a continuation until after it happens. You kind of have to be front running and guessing. But that's where momentum indicators come in and can help you with identifying potential continuation trades. And then you can anticipate them a little more easily. Now you got to have momentum indicators under your belt to make that decision confidently. And that's it.
So jumping over to your Swissy has been asked for. If you look at my chart, we are can probably do some upper row limit 10 maybe. That we can see this. I would say just newbie. It's a bit diverging. Like one day is hot, one day is cold, one day is hot, one is cold. It's 50-50 generally bull bear. It's not really high green or not really red on bull bear either. So is this statistically a good time or a good pair to trade then? Is this something you will be like, is this a warning to be aware of?
Well, you see how it goes from let me let's see. Am I on the same chart as you?
I'm on daily Euro Swiss at the moment.
Yeah, daily Euro Swissy for Oanda.
This is FXCM.
There you go. You're gonna get different data on different exchanges.
Okay, so I need to go to Euro Swissy Oanda.
Yeah, I trust Oanda's data a lot more,
Yeah. Okay.
just to be frank. And usually they have the most consistent data. I just trust their data more.
Yeah.
When I do all my FX stuff, it's with the Oanda data.
Yeah.
So the way I was looking at it is you can clearly see how there's a continuation from fire to ice there.
Yeah.
I think that's a nice way to look at it. From the
So
high to low stuff,
so
you go from fire to ice, you're going from higher volatility to lower volatility
yeah.
towards the end of the month. So the trading volatility should day by day seasonally start to go down.
Mm-hmm.
And we do have an interesting period here. We have
Oops.
the most bullish day of the range we've selected here is 63% of the time. The 18th trading day of the month is bullish.
So it's coming in.
Yeah, but then the following 2 days are pretty darn bearish.
So
And
that
you can see which years had the minimum and the maximum day. I don't know. I have that one actually turned off, but that's for like people who want to do historical studies.
So as you can see, for the past, what was it, 4 trading days, that it was very bullish, and we came up and we hit almost target for the week last week. Now we have come down to a central again, and then
Well,
we
the
have
14th, 2 days ago, it's 70% of the time it's bearish. Yeah. So that's what, 1, 2, that's the 18th of March. Oh my God, look at the 18th of March. That is a bearish day.
It's a hard day because we hit target, but now we are back at support again. Are we able now to say that this might now go higher again?
No, you generally want some volatility and some positive days to start coming in. And the next big positive day in March is actually on the 23rd of March, or the 23rd trading day of March. And believe it or not, that doesn't come around all too often. We only have 8 years where we get the 23rd trading day of March. But guess what? This is one of the years we get a 23rd trading day of March. It's very unusual. Very, very unusual. And that day is bullish 62% of the time. So the last trading day of March is your next biggest positive chance of getting a bullish trading day.
Yep.
And then it's all bearish trading days up until until the 18th and 2 trading days from now.
So the analysis so far, if you have a bullish outlook for your Swissy, you have technically come down to a support, but seasonality wise, you have more red days to come, as far as I understood it.
Pretty much just look at the bull bear and see if it tells you, does a day lean bullish or bearish more often than not. If it's 50-50, you're playing with uncertainty. And if it's even 60-40, you're still playing with a great deal of uncertainty. So really, you can only quote unquote rely on definitively, like, okay, this trading day is defined as bullish typically once it reaches like the 70% threshold. But it'll tell you, okay, generally this day is bullish, generally this day is bearish. And then the important thing is the high low. Like, okay, generally this day has this much range to give. Generally it gives you 40 pips of movement, 30 pips of movement. There are some days that seasonally generate on a median basis 120 pips of movement. And that's kind of important to know. And those days, sometimes they're 50-50 bullish or bearish. And that's when you really need to have your risk management like A game on and ready. It's a risk awareness tool.
Yeah. When we're looking into oil here, we have seen couple of days now where we have had pretty hardcore rise to the sorry rise, and people are like, but I wanted to buy, and we have been left out. But if I saw the seasonality, sorry, when I looked at the dashboard, um, it's not really, well, 12th trading day is pretty green, but the rest is like around 50, around 58, give or take, not so much like 70, 80. It's not fantastically great to one on the sides, but today, so far as I can see, it's going to be
I'm kind of lost what oil chart you're
the US oil daily
on from TradingView.
TVC.
It looks like I'm on this. Yeah, it looks like I'm on the same one.
Current price is 110.55. If China cases goes parabolic and they continue to expand lockdowns, if this could this be a huge market impact, especially on China reliant currencies like Aussie, which is quite high right now? What's your thoughts?
Oh yeah, COVID will scare people, don't you think?
No, I don't think so anymore. Actually, but I don't know who it was. Maybe it was Xi Jinping who said it, that they're going to be less restrictive if there is outbreaks. They're going to take more economic factors into consideration before they lock down, because they have been locking down was Shenzhen, major key important financial areas of China went down last week or whatever it was. So that they want to be less restrictive is kind of like, it's a bullish sign for Aussie. But it's China. They can switch. They can change up their mind for next week, and then they can just say, well, whatever we said last week doesn't matter anymore. We're still going to lock down.
By the way, I don't recommend using this chart.
Well,
if you go, here, do this thing. Scroll, like zoom out a lot. Like go to a daily chart and zoom out a lot. And then go all the way to the beginning of the chart and look at the data. The data is just, oh my God.
To 2000.
Oh, no. 83. Like,
yeah, but just waiting for it to load.
Yeah. Let's see. There's a reason why there's a feature in here to exclude data.
Yeah.
Let's see here. No, like just zoom out to the max and then drag the chart. It'll be, oh yeah, you're there. You see that? How it goes suddenly all the way to 1862.
Went through the roof.
I mean, literally, that's 100 years of data compressed into like a couple of ticks.
Yeah.
And that will screw up with your seasonality calculations.
Yeah.
Now, you can exclude that data and still use this chart, right? Because this is one of the few indicators that actually has that. But in the meantime, while the CL futures has it, I don't know. What's another oil ticker out there?
UK oil?
Probably
Crude,
not ones
Brent.
provided by TradingView.
Brent.
Is there one by what about one by, is there an oil by Owanda?
Don't know. Maybe it's
it's called WTI. Yeah, WTI CO.
Yeah. So generally, people, if you have a bullish bias on oil and you thought, well, this is going to go higher, and if you're thinking of day trading this thing, these are kind of the levels you're thinking of. as you made a higher high here, and you're thinking, well, cool, that's a good level. Price never came back down there. That's a good shot. Next day we just go absolutely parabolic. We skip central, or maybe there's one at market open, but it doesn't come down throughout the day, and comes back down today. Now, here is the risk and the fun part. If you have your trading open, I've seen, maybe not on oil specifically, but generally, that I've seen market coming back down to this price and then go back up again. When it skips a day, probably not pivot point theory whatsoever, but it is fascinating to see sometimes when you skip a beat one day, the next day is like, aha, I'm going to come back up to it, or try to come back up to it at least. Is there any proof of that before? Probably not, but it's a warning sign more than anything else that if it skips a daily central one day, you're gonna have deeper pullback the next day. If it's coming back down to this price or not, you shouldn't be as aggressive as you should normally be. So the analysis here on the theory analysis so far is that oil is currently bullish on the 1 hour, is currently making higher highs, and if you are a seller, you are taking a break, going somewhere else and thinking, well, this is a good ride, boys, and you're doing something else. But if you are a buyer, you are kicking it every day. Howdy, Michael. Howdy. Do you think oil is going to go down? I still have that outlook, but I am questioning it and I'm reevaluating it. I don't want to change my opinions too fast just because I got scared, but it definitely hit target last week here and took some profit. But I would imagine if there was going to be buyers in this area, we had to come down to 98 level, 1950. Maybe we'll know what happened later though, and then bounce. But right now I see a big fat support in this level that we need to test in the future to see if this is something the market will bounce off of. So far, as long as it continues higher, you are obliged to buy as a buyer, but as a seller, you are just waiting. So if it continues, then that is up to the market to decide. I don't decide that. And then target for today is 117. I don't know if it's a bit too high though, but it's definitely is. But if you're thinking of other resistance zones to look forward to, I would say 110, and the other one would probably be 120 for oil to find resistance. So yeah, Travel Darius Shane, hello. It's a long time no see. How is it across the sea? And there's a request for USDN. Do you have any thoughts there, mister? Other than, damn!
Me?
Yeah, you. On USDN.
USD yen.
We have
Let's
gone
see
from
here.
what? Compressed,
USD.
still higher.
Oh, by the way, let me just tell you something.
I'm listening.
Look at the daily median at the seasonal high-low range for today on USD yen.
Okay, I'm just gonna find it first.
It's what, zero on the Oanda chart of it. It's 0.942, and on your chart it's 0.37.
Yeah,
937. Now, take your measuring stick and go from low to high.
Today or just the whole move?
Yeah, just for today. Go from the low to the high today with your measuring stick.
159.
Yeah, so that's about 50 65 pips more than the seasonal daily high-low range. And that's the median seasonal range. So this is actually like a situation where you'd be like, oh, wow, we're 150, 140, 130 pips away. You know, this is why now you kind of see this top wick developing here.
Yeah. We also
And
reached
I also
121.
shorted New Zealand yen about 5 minutes ago. Sorry.
Biased. Red alert.
Yeah, but it's the exact same analysis for that trade that I actually took as this one. Now, does that mean you throw risk management, to the wind? No, before you start using trading strategies, you have to have an understanding of how to use the risk management. So, and again, this is like a day trading thing, right? And you can combine this with pivots. So let's look at the daily pivots here, all right?
Just yeah.
And yeah, just by the way, when you just move to a lower time frame, the indicator will just disappear. It'll throw you an error. But I've now figured out how to customize that error, so I'm really happy about that. So look, we're like really far away from R2. We're probably at like R4 or R5.
I can probably put that up as well.
Oh no, you can't use this on a 1 hour time frame. It won't give you anything.
On daily?
On a daily, the
didn't want to.
The dashboard will give you something, but not on a 1 hour. It won't work on a 1 hour.
R3 is down there. So we are, I don't know, R7.
Well, you know what you can do? You can actually get the default pivot points from TradingView, and they go up to R5. They're called pivot point standard.
Take off mine.
But we don't bother going up to R5 because you only go up to R5 like 3 times ever.
Yeah. So we start calculating.
Change it to daily.
I don't know. Why does the...
Oh my god, yeah, that's R5. We went above R5. Jeez,
so, people, if you're wondering how to trade pivot points here, this is so far to the moon that the moon doesn't cover it anymore.
This is like, imagine every resistance and every support level is like I don't know, theoretically it could be like analogous to a standard deviation move. So this is like a 5 sigma move, but that might not even be an apt comparison. Yeah. But it's a good way to think about, wow, that's quite a big move on a day-to-day 1 hour basis.
Yeah. So, people, for those who's holding USD yen buys, I'm not going to say you should take profit. That's not my cup of tea. But
you need to be aware. You got to be risk aware.
You need to be risk aware. You need to be not emotional. Emotional damage. But if this one goes down now, don't be angry at me if you didn't take your profit.
Call your Uncle Raja.
Yeah. Gordon. That is not how to make fried rice. You have to use the wok pan. I saw that yesterday. It was funny. I laughed the living shit out of me. Uncle Raja.
Yeah, I don't have.
And then there's this sketch he uses when he's standing. Well, now he's standing in what do you call that? Like those food trucks, and the guy says, "Well, we don't want to be spicy." Yeah. You don't want spice. You don't want spice. Why you only want bland food? You only want white food. I can't do it, but it's hilarious. Ow! Ow! I hit my tooth.
Ooh, ouch.
Yeah, it's still there though. I feel like Home Alone right now. That dude that went into all the traps. Marvin.
Oh man.
It hurts. Anyways, people, for those who's buying used yen, it is so hard.
It's probably gonna mean revert.
It's probably at some point gonna mean revert. Does that mean he's gonna sell it? No. But it means
you
that
have to know what you're doing. You have to be risk aware. I mean, let's say if you're already long this, you're probably jamming your stop higher and higher, not just getting out right now, because the next candle, the next day, can also be green.
yeah.
I might not even be in this trade for another hour. The thing could just zip back right on up.
Just gonna check my pound dollar went higher. Higher. And what are we supposed to look at? Is smoke barbecue pork halal? No, it's not halal. No, it's oh wait. I've looked at your comment for a long time, Michael. What are you thinking? Hiya, you want to buy dollar CAD? You are a white boy? No, that is not possible. Why are you buying a lower low, bro? Come on! Michael! And then I told Michael, Joe, that I wouldn't take that trade. 5 out of 6 times I told him, actually, you probably shouldn't. And it went to a winner in the end. So I'm not just Michael, just do whatever you want. But that trade? Shit.
Isn't that what like most people say on YouTube anyway? Just do whatever you want. Just leave me out of your trading decisions. I don't want responsibility.
No, it's not responsibility. It's just it's just giving up. Like it's just because first of all, Joe, we all have different education, right? We all have listened to different dudes online, right?
Yeah.
So not everyone has been listening to us all the time. Oh yeah, it's smoked barbecue halal. Yeah, I should probably. Yeah, I guess that was okay. Now I understand. Cheers. So, yeah, it's just that some was trained to buy USD CAD at the bottom like that. But yeah. But isn't buying CAD yen a better trade if you want to buy CAD? No, sorry, you're selling CAD.
Wait, repeat that again. Buying what?
He bought USD CAD.
Well, then go to USD CAD chart.
Hiya.
Well,
Michael, explain yourself.
USD CAD Oanda. I mean, dude, look at this on a daily chart. It's just been it's been horrible. Oh my god. I mean, the good point I can actually bring is that the volatility starts to go down for like the next 5 trading days. So that's a plus. And however, the very first like significant green day odds wise you get seasonally are on the 20th trading day, and we're in the 16th. So he might just be doing it a little early statistically. I mean, that's what I like about this dashboard. It helps with the timing of it. The probabilities help you find the low and the high, and this can help you with picking the day.
But Joe, have you seen what Antoine Juan has said in the chat? I only listen to supermodels.
Dude, we're at the monthly probability weighted pivot low.
All right.
On that USD CAD for the month. Yeah.
Okay.
So that means below here, 30 below. What is that? I have the new midpoint set up with the L's and the H's.
Hmm.
That is M1. Yeah. So the odds of historically the odds of going below M1 are 30% during the month of March for USD CAD here on the Oanda chart.
Hmm.
So in the last 20 years, we've only gone below M1 30% of the time.
Hmm.
Yeah.
What week is it now? I know you have 12 and 13. I thought it was 11. Okay, so
I think that's so only 5 times out of the last 20 years. So 3 out of 4 times the low is in right around S1.
so he's onto something.
Yeah, he's not totally winging it. He's got some stats on his side, but I wouldn't say today is the day. Also, you just don't want to be buying when the momentum has just been
Dropping.
it's so negative. And another thing with the seasonality dashboard is you got your range, right? What the average range is for that day historically, seasonally. So you can say, okay, did this day have a huge range compared to what it usually gets historically? Yes, it did. Well, then I can buy the lower end of that candle and get in at technically a historical seasonal discount.
Mm.
I don't know.
Mm.
I'm going off saying things. Let's say the best price maybe hasn't come in quite yet,
Yeah.
and if it is coming in, it'll probably likely come in like 2 or 3 days from now. So he's just early. He's not wrong, but sometimes being early can make you wrong, and sometimes being late can also make you wrong.
That's what she said.
Ooh.
Oh.
Oh, I thought you were my friend. Ouch.
I guess we all have some kind of experience of coming early, but joke time. Do you know how, Joe? Do you know how to make a pool table laugh? You you tickle the balls. But yeah, that was I think that was a good one. Clean, as they call it.
Oh my god.
I'm just waiting for chat to come back, by the way, because they are a bit behind us, but they'll listen to it. James said he rather want to sell you USD Euro CAD though, but it's a bit low at the moment. But also Euro's picking up some momentum higher. But fair enough. It's been very volatile lately, so I don't know. I don't like it. It's a wildcat to be trading Euro CAD at the moment, but fair enough. I guess it goes. Doesn't scream anything, but we are not at sell for the week either, so it's just in the middle of somewhere. Just to have an update there. But yeah, so but USD CAD, buying USD CAD, Michael. Yeah, you got it. That's up to you. That's your trade. I'm not gonna take it away from you, but yeah. How do you enter a trending market? The market has no pullbacks. Joe, what do you do then? Let's see New Zealand yen right now.
Well, you got generally 2 options in those kinds of situations. Well, technically 3, with the third one being a mistake of risk management or poor judgment. Right?
Okay.
That's like the extra risk to reward thing. So the first 2 scenarios in a situation like New Zealand yen, first scenario is like the situation I had, where I was going short, and I got stopped out. And the thing kept going higher and higher, and I was happy I got stopped out.
Mm.
The second scenario is you went long, had a drawdown for a little bit, maybe you got stopped out and re-entered, who knows? Or let's say you were just long, and this thing kept going up and up and up. And you keep jamming your stop higher and higher and higher as the thing goes up, and you're locking in your profit. And eventually, when this thing comes down, it's going to hit your stop in profit, and you'll walk away.
Mm.
Third one is the actual mistake. Third one is where you're, let's say you're already long this,
Mm.
and you go ahead and you say, like, midway through the rally, with some look back, we can kind of see where the midway of the rally is. We can go ahead and say, oh, I think the top is in. I'm going to get out now. And then you leave like 50, 100 pips on the table, getting out too damn early.
Mm.
And then there's the other flip side, a secret fourth option where not only were you short at the beginning and lost money, you kept shorting on the way up and losing money all the way up.
Mm.
So one is just leaving money on the table. That's one mistake. And the other mistake would be trying to short on the thing as it goes up.
Yeah.
And not necessarily understanding like where the maximum range is, that sort of stuff. And, you know, being risk aware. It's an important thing. And it's the most important thing to profitable trading is being risk aware. Like, I can say I wasn't a part of this run up, but I took my shot and I got kicked out, and I didn't make mistake number 4, which was shorting on this, trying to short this thing on the way up. I waited till I got another opportunity, and that opportunity was informed by the data. And now the bears are gonna get another shot, and the bulls are probably concerned that their shot may be over. But you can clearly still see that we have a lot of movement here, a lot of momentum here, and it can continue. But that's the thing. Nobody knows exactly if it will, what the magnitude of it will be, how quickly it will happen. A lot of unknowns. So, you know, that's why people pay all these fancy quants millions of dollars to build systems to figure this stuff out. But we're retail traders, so we need something that's kind of simpler, right? So the easiest way to do that is just to have generally like fixed positions, stop losses at reasonable sections, never risking a huge amount of your account, and always having your stop loss on and never fiddling around with it. Because once you start fiddling around with your stop loss against like some basic risk management rules, that's when the losses come in, right?
Those are very good scenarios. But how do you enter them? How do you enter a trending market with no pullbacks?
You don't.
Yeah. That's kind of what I was about to say.
And by enter, does he mean long or short? Because if you're trying to short this thing, then your answer is, well, you enter and you're immediately punished.
Because if you enter the peak, let's say you enter now. Well, we don't know the future, right? But if that's the peak, you will look like you will look like the dumb kid. If you bought here and it's in the middle of the range, in the middle of the move, and it did in fact go higher, you will probably look like a genius to your friends. But for us, you will look like, what were you thinking? So there is no way to enter a market without a pullback. It's as simple as that. And
yeah, it's just a lot of risk.
And that's
you
can also just
you
can buy here and you can put your stop loss down here. But do you have a count? Do you have 180 pips to give away to the market if it comes down again, kind of a thing? On New Zealand yen right now, but down to the previous support. So yeah, sure you can, but it's a lot of risk.
Yeah, trying to pick tops is not a fun game. Now, I did say earlier I was already short New Zealand Japanese yen.
Yeah.
But that's because I have some stats in my favor.
Yeah, no, it's a fair game.
We've moved 154 pips today, and the median range typically for today is exactly 100 pips over like the last 18 years.
Yeah.
So I'm on the side of, okay, maybe we've kind of reached the upper range of the move for today. So I'm going to take a nibble at this.
So
You know,
might
I'll go
have
ahead and
some
I'll slap.
pullback and then continue higher tomorrow for that matter.
Yeah, and this is actually like a 2%er trade because
Yeah.
most of my normal trades are 5% of my account. But this is a situation where I'm like, okay, I'm, really doing a count. Okay, here's a really good thing. Here's a really, really good point. Counter trend trades are the most unprofitable trades out there. When you're trying to do counter trend trades and you have less than like 4 years of experience trading, you're more likely to lose than win. Counter trend trades have been the biggest sore for most people I've talked to. Yeah, most people lose the most trying to do a counter trend trade. Just don't do it unless you have some sort of data or some sort of help. That, for example, trading, trying to short the rise in the US dollar in 2020 on the DXY when COVID was rallying, trying to short the dollar, like, that was a horrible, horrible thing to do. But guess what I did? I was subscribed to the Federal Reserve's email list. I got something in my inbox on the 20th of March saying, hey, we're going to print a ton of money and just give it out to all the other central banks. And we're going to do this on the 23rd. So this is like a notice 3 days ahead of time. And then guess what? I did. I'm like, okay, I guess on the 23rd of March, I got to short the US dollar. And on every single chart, not just the DXY, but if you go to the S&P, the CAC, the DAX, the FTSE, you go to USD CAD, you go to anything. And by the way, that's what I traded is USD CAD. That's what I shorted.
145?
Yeah, on the 23rd of March. Yeah. And that's just an email from the Federal Reserve. So that's one bit of data. Was that statistics? No. It was the Federal Reserve changing the market. So you got to be risk aware, right? Of things coming in to change the market. And a lot of being able to actually do that competently simply comes down to, do you actually understand the market that you're trading, right? Do you actually understand what you're doing in the first place here? But this is why people come and they watch you and they listen to you and why I build stuff and why we do what we do.
I say some dumb shit and you do some dumb shit and it becomes good shit in the end. I think that was a good one. I like that analogy. Yeah.
Very inspirational.
Yeah. You heard it from me. Do dumb shit and it will be good shit in the end. Yeah, let's go through the markets again.
NASDAQ.
Yeah, I'm just gonna look at S&P. NASDAQ. What's going on over here? We have a new high. And we have risen 11% from the bottom. Yeah, okay, fair enough. I don't know who it was. Was it somebody who was like, oh, the market's gonna crash from this point? So I guess traders, you need to have your stop loss ready. If the market crashes all of a sudden.
No, dude, the low is in for the month.
Yeah, I know. You need to hear my whole thought process here, Joe. But we are in a bullish trend. We have made the bottom we wanted at the time we wanted. So this is this is the time. This is the thing. Yesterday I watched The Big Short. It sounded like a bit like it. Yeah. So how do you find entry in a market that is currently giving us an M3 for the week? Do you only look for central pivot and nothing else, or what do you do when you are elevated and you don't really have a buy setup?
You don't buy. I mean,
I'm trying.
He just told you what you just said is exactly what you do. It's not so complicated when you spell it out like that.
It's like what do you call it? It's just equal. Well, it's like saying plus and minus at the same time. Like, is that hot or is it cold? You just equalize
I don't
yourself,
think we
basically.
have too much higher to go here on NQ going into the rest of the week. You know, what? Maybe we get, I don't know, maybe another 2.5% to 5% in that range. Maybe it goes up that much this week, but I'm not gonna bet on any more than it going past R1 on the weekly.
R1.
I don't think it's gonna go past R1 this week. No.
And if you come up to R1, then like woohoo, and then waiting for a bit of a pullback, and then buying Central next week. I'm just gonna watch.
I'd buy like M2.
Sorry.
I'd buy M2 S1
M2.
next week.
Yeah. So really
M2
low
S1
though.
next week, yeah.
Just checking because we reached S1. So is that a move? Can that be a move to R1 maximally for this month? That would be maximally 15,300
for this month. I don't see us going up that high. Although historically we usually have. It's just, I mean, look at it this way: if you were a bull, your opportunity to buy was, back at least to March 15th to March 8th, that whole time period. And that was a total of 6 trading days to make your decision to buy as a range trade bull, right? Between M2 S1 for the month. That was your opportunity to get in. That's the trading rule. That's the buy. Right now, it's where all the bulls are happy, and
they are
so
in
if
deep
you're
profit.
a bull, yeah. So if you're doing a range trade and you're a bull, what's the target? It's M3R1.
And you're very close to it.
I mean, I said we may have like an extra 3.5% left, and M3 on the month is 2.5%. And what did I say earlier before that? That we maybe had 2.5 to 5% more in there. I don't think we'll go above R1 this week, but maybe we'll hit M3 this week or next week on the monthly. Yeah, I don't see us even going above the R1 on the monthly this week.
Yeah.
Next month, though, I definitely see us going above R1 next month. Yeah, above R1 for sure.
So right now we have Central at short of 14,000 and 13,600, give or take, plus minus something. Those are at least currently the levels for Central Pivot. But if we go a bit higher, then you also have to expect that Central Pivot will go higher coming into next week. Pound yen has been asked for, and Teresa, this is an unprecedented time. Did you buy it or did you not buy it? Do you have any sell positions here? That is very crucial to know if you're some 100 pips in loss. But from the bottom, which is a totally normal reversal pattern, actually, have risen 800. boom, pips. So what do we do now? What is the analysis? The analysis is, are you a day trader, are you a scalper, are you a swing trader? So right now you are elevated through the roof of everything and everything. This can continue higher. This can continue lower, for all that matters. But right now you are sitting in a position where you are going to buy the peak of the peak of the peakest. If you are thinking of buying here. If there is any pullbacks whatsoever, there is no clear support to say, hey, this is where we should buy today. So it's definitely, go to daily, definitely an area of, did you buy yesterday and market open? Yes or no? Did you buy a central pivot yesterday? Yes or no? Did you buy central pivot the other day? Yes or no? Did you buy central pivot the other day? And if you don't have any buys at all at the moment, you have now reached the price of 160. That's a long time I've heard of 160, Joe. One where we were at 160 last time. 2015.
I mean, I don't know how much longer this volatility on this pair is going to last, because the volatility from this short, like 5-day, 10-day period is so high, it's like hitting the 100th percentile in volatility. It's the most volatile we've seen in a long time. So traders who are doing options on currencies are going to be selling volatility on this. So they're going to expect that the volatility starts to come down from actually this point forward into April. So actually, that would be a good example to go over expanded pivots, because next month's pivots for April, they're huge. Oh my god, dude! You gotta look at these things.
Are they even worth looking at? Are they even worth thinking about? Yeah. When if you're going to say, well, I'm going to buy Central, but if you're going to buy Central,
well, these are still
that's a
tradable
300 pip move.
Yeah, these are still tradable. It's just, you know how we went over compressed pivots. Well, the opposite of compressed pivots are expanded pivots, where instead of getting low volatility, you get high volatility. So with compressed pivots, how it was easier to hit targets past R2 and S2? Well, the opposite happens here with expanded pivots. It's harder to go past R2, R1 and S1.
For next month. This price.
So going past R1, S1 next month is a lot harder, because the pivots are just farther on a more absolute level. So guess what you need to count on in order to hit those pivots? Even more volatility. And is that incredibly likely? Actually, not really. Let me go ahead and pull up April's seasonality stuff. Yeah. It can, in the first week, go pretty bullish in the first week of April. But the volatility does start to cool off in kind of starting the 6th trading day. It goes from, the volatility definitely starts to cool off for like the first half of the month. And then volatility comes back in the second half of April. So volatility traders, people who make money based off of just volatility itself going up and down, are probably going to try and figure out ways to sell volatility going into the final week of March, so then they can have a trade on for like the next 3 weeks into the middle of April, get out, and then the volatility comes back mid-April for the rest until the end of the month.
You have a question in Discord. How do you contact? How do people contact you?
Yeah, just send me a DM.
You click
I'm
on
trying to
Joe.
find the I'm trying to find the at message, and
Yeah.
they just finally showed up. I was already in the general chat.
Yeah. So if you click here with your left, like normal, click, 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 click. There's your message bar. You message there, or you
Yeah,
right
they
click.
gotta send me a friend request first though,
Okay.
because I get sent a lot of spam. So, but if I see that you're in the same server with me, I'll accept it.
So friend request apparently, and then
Yeah,
send a
yeah. You
message.
send a friend request, and then yeah, can message me whenever.
Yeah.
And everyone's already got you as a friend, so
Yeah.
generally it'll also say, hey, but also a friend with this guy, and he's in the same server, and that makes me like, oh yeah, sure, I'll talk to this guy.
So the analysis on pound yen is next month is gonna be you have to reduce your monthly expectations of how far we can go using R1 S1 instead of M4 M1. Right now we are pretty extended. Like, and it can of course continue until forever. The bank, the finance minister of Japan has said that they're going to maybe intervene. Look out for yen with strength there. When somebody said they're going to start thinking about it, they are doing it. But this is not the central bank of Japan, which is a bit different. So you might mentally think this might be the top. Not necessarily you should sell it, but you would at least hope for some kind of pullback of some sort. Because this is, yeah. So if you are going to buy it, we have been talking about this quite a lot today. You need to have a pullback of some sort. How much of a pullback you need is a bit of coming back down to how you trade. Are you a scalper? Are you a swing trader? Are you, yeah? But what's your time horizon? Because that is kind of a support there, but generally you need to go down to on the 15. The next support is here at 158.80. So right now you're just in between, and also the other part is you also need to see where price does stop falling at, because if we start falling now, I'm not saying we're gonna fall like a hot knife in butter, but that is definitely a scenario you need to take into consideration. Personal Freedom says, generally speaking, do you think dollar dominance continues strongly the next 1 to 2 years?
Oh, absolutely.
For those who believe the dollar is going to lose its what do you call that thing?
Reserve status.
So reserve status, and is it Bernanke? Like when they made dollar, everything made when they made other central banks using dollar to have other central banks assets in dollars. If that's going to end, we don't see that too much right now. So I do not believe that if that is a concern, they would probably have done it already. That they are afraid of that their American assets are going to be seized. So yes, definitely still going to be trading oil in dollar. Generally, we're still going to see dollar having its safe haven. We're still going to see, because the reason for that is because the American economy is still robust. It still doesn't budge because of what is happening in Ukraine, Russia. It still is very self-reliant. 75% GDP is domestic. So you need a very stable currency to still be the dominant one. So is dollar going to be stable for the next 1 to 2 years? The general answer is yes. So yeah.
I mean, if you asked the year before that, and 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 anyone who told you no would have been wrong. However, just because historically that's been the case doesn't necessarily mean it will be the case next year. It just means that the likely outcome is that it will be, and that you have to have some really strong reasons to believe otherwise.
Yeah. So I don't know where you get it from, personal freedom. Where you get it from, though. I have a suspicion maybe it's news or media, or what that's that called? The bald guy on CNBC. I can't remember what it's called right now.
Oh, here's a good reason to still think that the dollar will have dominance.
Yeah.
Is that pretty much all the crime in the world is still done in US dollars. Like, criminals are now leaving Bitcoin because now there are firms like Chain Analytics, which is the name of the actual firm,
Yeah.
that's able to actually track down like which accounts are doing drug deals and stuff. Yeah, so now more criminals are actually going back to cash. It's the supreme way to do anonymous transactions.
I thought I was Bitcoin. I thought I was crypto.
The problem is that there's a public ledger with it, and you can track every single Satoshi and where it went to what address.
So now they are exposing themselves.
No, the problem with Bitcoin is that all these chain analytics people know what crypto accounts, what crypto addresses have all the crime going through them, but they don't know what the person is. They don't have a name attached to them. But you know what? As if they get even an inkling of a lead of who that person could possibly be, they're gonna warrant that person. And all they got to do is find anything that relates to their Bitcoin transactions, and they're in jail. It's like public evidence against them. So criminals are leaving the Bitcoin network.
So gold is supposed to drift lower to 1800 if Fed gets more aggressive. No, whoops. But
no.
Can I reference this article or not?
Yeah, go ahead.
But if what we are seeing now, stagflation,
yeah,
then we should go higher. So, even though this is
really behind the curve, man. Sorry for interrupting, but the Fed's really behind the curve.
No shit, Sherlock. What else do you have to tell me? Of course they're behind the curve.
Man.
Alright, people. I don't know, this was a different stream today. Dollar is falling. Aussie is rising. Euro is rising. Pound is rising. New Zealand is rising. Euro New Zealand is falling. Pound yen is still going to the moon. And USD CAD is, I don't know, sovereign is still at the bottom. Yen pairs are unbelievably untouchable. Silver is, okay, fell on the 15-minute now, but fair enough. And gold still hasn't made a bullish move throughout this stream. And nat gas had a spike higher. Interesting that other one's going higher now. But yeah, now it's breaking higher. And oil has finally made its way lower again. So we are in New York session. Sorry. Yeah, we are. Time differences right now. And the most volatile time of the day for commodities are in New York session. So as you are thinking, well, how do you get an entry on oil? How do you get an entry on gold? this is the session you're supposed to be focusing on, generally speaking, for volatility. But James apparently has some trouble with sending something, but it doesn't let me. I don't know if study something you can do after Joe. Try to contact James. But if you put your name in the general saying that you need to contact Joe or something, so that he knows that you're trying to contact him, because if you just do that without friend request, that's gonna stop you. So yeah, I need to leave at the moment. I think I have.
Dude, this has been a long stream.
Oh yeah, how long have you been going on? Jeez.
Yeah,
2 hours. Wow. You could speak for 4 more. I know.
My God. I mean, my streams were 2 to 4 hours.
What did you say?
My streams were 2 to 4 hours when I used to do them.
No.
You're a lot more responsible for other people's time. It's probably my fault.
I have a I have a meeting that I need to prepare for. So, hope you guys had a fun day today. I hope you guys learned something new. This wasn't planned at all. So,
No,
I've also
no, not at all.
Poo Puppy. Yeah, just rewind
really,
2 hours of stream and then okay, yeah. What I'm gonna do right now, I'm gonna do the update right now, so I can just go to the end if you don't have time to listen to everything. So I am dollar bullish. Euro coming up to some kind of sells here, but dollar at the moment is currently falling on the 15-minute. So the day trade here is it able to hold? It did come up a bit today, but it's still in a range. So if you're thinking that this should be a good buy, I would say wait a minute. If you're in a range, if identify this is a range, which I've identified as, then you have to wait for either a lower low or a breach higher and continuation of trend. So right now you need to be cautious. What you would hope for is actually a lower low on dollars, so you can get a better price coming into April or something like that. Ramesh asked, why is the USD dollar going higher? Do you have any theory there, Joe?
Wait, the USD
Australian dollar, US dollar, sorry.
like, okay, I'm like, wait, that's a dollar pair.
Yeah, my lack of coffee.
Aussie dollar.
Why is it rising so much?
Why is it rising so much? Well, because it's a commodity currency. And right now, commodities are the thing. The chief economist of Westpac, Bill Evans, and Westpac is the largest bank in Australia. He's been their chief economist for like more than 20 years, possibly more than 30 or 40, I don't remember. But he's been their chief economist for a long time, and the bank has really strong ties with the Reserve Bank of Australia and New Zealand. So they're a really powerful bank, Westpac is. And about a week ago, Bill Evans wrote an editorial in their weekly outlooks called Australia and New Zealand Weekly. And in that editorial, he said, we are now all in bullish Aussie dollar for like kind of the foreseeable future here. And their forecast for Aussie dollar's exchange rate going out to the end of 2023 was 80 cents. And we're currently at 74. And when they released that outlook, we were at like 72 cents. So we've moved 200 pips. And I believe a good chunk of that was Westpac coming in. trade research is a big part of what I do. So I like to look at that and like, wow, these are the guys moving the market, and these are why they're moving the market.
Mm.
So reading, people don't necessarily think reading is like a trading indicator. I mentioned the Federal Reserve email list, but
There's a lot of
you know,
things you can mention if you want to, want to go down that rabbit hole. We can take
oh
that.
man,
Sorry, we can take that in the next stream,
yeah,
by the way. Um,
oh man, there's a lot you can
there's a
go through.
lot.
But yeah, don't put, for Aussie dollar specifically, it it should continue to perform reasonably well. It's just people are kind of freaking out with the yen pairs because yen is depreciating so much it might end up hurting what little inflation Japan has right now. And the sooner Japan hits their inflation target of 2%, the sooner they'll hike rates, and that will cause the yen to get stronger in anticipation of a preeminent Bank of Japan move. And that's going to be like the next major theme in forex, because the Bank of Japan has been easy on their monetary policy for like the last more than a decade. So this is going to be like an incredibly important trend to watch. Is, will the Bank of Japan finally change their policy at some point? Because they'll finally be hitting their inflation target potentially sometime in the latter half of this year or in the early half of next year, potentially, if the inflation keeps to grow and the commodities keep to rise, right? Because remember, Japan imports all their energy and they have to buy it all in yen. And if energy prices keep going up and up and up, they have to print more and more and more money. Like inflation goes higher and higher. They may hit that target sooner than people think. So it's like a big flashing red flag that I'm hearing from these smart guys doing trade research saying, hey, this is not going to happen like tomorrow, but this is kind of something we need to like
Look out for.
mauled over and research and, spend our time now while we're not panicking thinking about it. So, yeah, that's, if anything, that's like the most important thing, like that could happen over the next year and a half.
Yep.
Oh, personal freedom. You've seen Bill Evans talk in person. Oh, yeah, no, well, obviously the guy's a bit biased, right? But that's why you don't just read Bill Evans, right? You read Danske Bank and Wells Fargo, B of A, Merrill Lynch. Yeah, James, I need to accept your friend request for you to send me a message. So, there's the trade research side. And the trade research side says, hold off on trying to sell these commodity currencies, especially against dollar, because there's probably a bit more oomph still kind of behind these ones. I mean, what do the pivots say right now? We're breaking R2 right now on a monthly and on a daily. What is it?
Breaking R2 on monthly, yeah. And on daily we are probably not that far off something. We are at R2 for today, or soon at R2. We are in target when the target, but it also was compressed yesterday. So,
well, and when you have multiple compressed pivots in a row, you're more likely to hit those further targets. But yeah, if you were trading pivots traditionally, this would just be the time when you get out.
Yeah.
But because this has been like a straight move up, I mean, the thing can just continue going straight up.
Yeah.
So this is where I say, jam the stops, and if the thing comes down, then you're out and you're happy. And if you want to get back in, sure, go ahead.
And that was the last word from us today. I hope you had enjoyed the stream. Thank you for all the questions. Thank you for Joe for passing by. Joe without a camera today, but you only heard his voice. He's very good looking. Don't worry, you missed something there.
If I come on again, I'll pull up my camera so then you can throw that on and then people can see me talking to or whatever.
What? Yeah, something like that. All right, people. Have a good day. See you soon.
Boom. Boom.